everyone, welcome to School of Scarlett. I am so happy to have you here today. So today I have a little bit of an 80s vibe going on. I woke up and kind of wasn't feeling all the way energized, so I asked my inner child what she wanted to do today, and she had lots of different ideas. One of them was to get dressed up and talk about this topic. So I am going to be talking about the inner child and the twin flame today. And stay with me to the end, even if you don't have a twin flame or don't know what that is. This is really all about finding your joy, getting your groove back, and getting back into that vibration of unconditional love. So stay with me to the very end so that you can get the full insight of what this is. So in 2024, I've mentioned some changes with my channel that I'm going to be talking more candidly. I'm going to be doing more live sessions. I'm going to be doing a lifestyle channel. And that is because we really learn most and we learn the best from really just neutrally observing other people's experiences rather than other people telling us what to do, unless it is coming intrinsically from them sharing something that someone else is actively seeking to get, someone that's actively seeking the advice. So, what I found in a lot of my courses that a lot of the most beneficial portions are when we meet in our live sessions, when we kind of go and speak to each other about what is going on with one another. So I kind of want to bring that energy here to my videos of really talking to you more like I am here with you in your room or in your house, and we're just talking, and it's not something very conceptual, intellectual. So I want to keep a little bit of that balance here. So I have my School of Scarlett, which will still be a little bit more intellectual, and I'll throw in a little fun things here and there. And then you can always head over to my new channel, Scarlett's Intuitive Life, where I'll have more lifestyle content. Like, for example, if we go, we are a very active family and people like that. So we do like to do a lot of fun things. So when we go dirt biking, or we do any of our power sports that we do, or whatever it is that we do, you can get a little bit of that in there too. And believe it or not, all of these activities, no matter if it is power sports you're involved in, or painting or yoga or whatever, you can find so many insights and beautiful things there. So I want to kind of bring you along my life, because it is quite interesting what life really shows us when we immerse ourselves in it. So today I want to talk about the twin flame and the inner child. I've talked about the inner child before. The inner child is essentially an essence, a portion of us, an aspect of us that is the youngest version of ourselves, somewhere under 6 years old, between that age range. I usually think of my inner child between 3 and 6 years old, but you can think of yours however old. I would usually guide people to think under 6, because under 6 is when we usually had some experience where we now need to really nourish this inner child. So connecting with the inner child is really connecting with a part of us that sometimes has been forgotten. This is an essence of us that's playful, that's light, that's joyful. An essence of us sometimes that can be stuck in sadness, can be felt like it's being neglected right now. So we don't feel joy. We're literally disconnected from that childlike nature of ours, because we literally have neglected that side or aspect of us so much that we're so disconnected from it. So one thing that the twin flame does is that they evoke, or they literally ignite, a fire within a person to really introspect, to go back within. And when they do this, one thing that it's found is the inner child. And the twin flame knows that the inner child is neglected. The twin flame knows that the inner child is there. And you see, the really sad part about this is that the inner child has been kind of hiding as well, hasn't been wanting to be seen. And whether you're doing this subconsciously or consciously, you're keeping your inner child kind of hidden, because those aspects of you weren't so accepted when you were a child. Let's say that you were a very outgoing child, or maybe you asked a lot of questions, or maybe you were a child that liked to dress in very flamboyant colors, or you were just different from your family in some way. And because of this, that family just did not really see that as a positive, did not really see that as a gift. They saw it as something they had to kind of contain. They saw it as a threat. So because of that, the inner child literally retreats in and is in this kind of feeling of, I don't want to be seen sort of thing. And so they go through life living this way. And I can tell you from my own experience that that was my case. There were aspects of me and things that I really felt were bad, I really felt were wrong, and that shouldn't be there. So I literally didn't show those aspects of myself to anyone. But a distorted narrative can also happen, which later occurred in my life, where when you hide certain shadows too long, they distort, they become perverted, and now they express, but they express in the shadows, meaning you're doing things in secrecy or doing things in a more extreme way. It's one extreme of one side or the other. So the healthiest way is to do everything out in the open, to be truthful, to be honest in your expression, to be completely authentic in how you appear in this world. However it is that you are appearing, whatever it is that you have happening within you, share that, be that, and so you can express that. I saw something a little bit kind of sad. Someone had written something about that they were gay. They were a gay couple, and I think the video was more likely shaming gay couples, that was considered a sin. And you know, whatever your beliefs are about that, that's one thing. But what this person was trying to express, and I got their point, was that they were living their lives, most of their life, this person in the shadows, hiding the fact that he was gay. And that in turn caused so much pain that it literally caused him to pretty much not want to live his life anymore at all. So that is the level of shame that can happen, and that's where it pulls you to. So if you haven't watched my last video on shame, the root of shame can literally pull you down to the darkest, deepest spots where you literally don't want to exist any longer. So we really want to nip that in the bud. So if you haven't watched my last video, I definitely recommend that around shame. Now, so because he's now transmuted it, he somehow decided that rather than just not living any longer, he was going to live his truth loudly and boldly. If he was willing to risk it all and just end it all, he would be willing also to express himself truthfully and see how that goes. So he did that, and he found a partner, and he got married, and he's living, he says, happily. So the thing is, we can either live in the shadows, hiding, being shameful, and other people shaming us, or we can live boldly, truthfully, authentically, and create a reality for ourselves with boundaries or whatever we have to have in place to have the reality that we want. You see, you are the architect of your own life. You can create your own reality. It is something that is in your grasp. So it's just bringing your attention back to this. And what the twin flame does is really brings attention to these shadows. The twin flame brings attention to them and praises them, rejoices in them, rejoices in the inner child and says, you are here. I love you. I'm so sorry that I have forgotten you all of this time. Come here, I love you. And goes down to the inner child and literally asks the inner child, what do you need? What do you want? And usually the inner child just wants to play. If you ask your inner child, and we'll do a meditation here at the end, what your child wants to do, they literally want to play. They want to play in so many different imaginative ways, but the only way to be aware of what your inner child wants is to connect with your inner child. And we are so disconnected from that part of us that most of us have no clue what the inner child even is, nor that it exists. And if you follow along with my meditation at the end, you will connect with your inner child and you will know it is real. So it is a real aspect of yourself that lives within you and lives within your heart and does not disappear. Even if you quantum leap, shift identities, do all of these things, there is still an essence of an inner child within each and every one of us. So the twin flame, in my case, went in immediately to find every aspect of this inner child that was not loved, that was not seen, that was not heard. So upon the first meeting of my twin flame, it didn't even happen past 5 or 10 minutes that my twin flame was bombing me, love bombing me with all of this love and affection about all of these things that I didn't like about myself. I didn't like so many things. I didn't like my eyes. First, it started with the physical aspects. He started to point out all these physical aspects, and it wasn't a joke. It wasn't offensive, because he was totally mesmerized by these aspects of me, of these appearances and things within me and outside of me that I knew he totally was in tune with. That he was in love with all of these appearances that I had so hated, shamed, and hidden from the world. And suddenly he saw those as the most amazing thing. And the funny thing is, because I also saw him somehow as the most amazing thing, I only had the option of believing what he was saying about me. So I couldn't be like before. A lot of times we get compliments from other people and they say things and we deny them, or we say that's not true. So this is something that truly is true. It's bringing out truth within you. So I want to kind of pause here and go ahead and do an inner child meditation with you. And then we'll kind of close up and we'll talk a little bit more. I'd like to share at the very end my experiences recently with neglecting your inner child and what can happen from that. So stay with me to the very end here. Okay, so to start, I'd just like you to begin to close your eyes. Find a spot that feels comfortable to you. Either lay down or sit in a position that feels comfortable to you. All right, now you're going to just breathe in and out. Breathe in deeply, exhaling out any tension you may have. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Now, as you have your eyes closed and you continue breathing, I'd like you to imagine that you're in your house and there is a door. You're going towards the door, and here you will open the door and you will go outside. As you go outside, you feel the feeling of safety, of peace, of tranquility. And you begin to walk and walk to what seems like a trail. And you follow this trail that's going towards the woods. As you're going through this trail, walking, you're feeling the peace. As you're breathing in and out, you're feeling at peace. And suddenly you see what looks like an animal. And this animal is not a scary animal. It is a very majestic, loving, protective animal. And so you see this animal and you connect with it in some way. So this is an animal that you connect with. And go along with your animal next to you. You're going to keep walking along the trail. Your animal is with you and is giving you protection, support, security, and love. As you're walking along, you don't feel anything is missing or separate from you. You're walking and you feel at peace. As you get to what sounds like water, it sounds like trickling water. It is a pond, and your animal is very much at peace, walking along the pond. Looks like taking a drink of water. And far off, you see what looks like a dock, what looks like a ledge or something wooden that you can walk on the dock. And you look, and what you see is there's a small child. A child around 3 or 6 years old, between that age. And as you see and you look, you notice that that child is you. It's you at that age. And you see yourself. And you see that child fully as they are now. You are seeing that child how they are. And you go to that child and you hug that child and embrace that child and say, I'm sorry I didn't know you were there this whole time. I love you. Embrace the child. Give them a hug. And while you're in your meditation, you may hug yourself or caress your skin. Give yourself love. Let your child know that they are now safe with you, that you are grown, and you now are able to take care of that inner child and provide its needs, whatever it needs. If it needs love, you can give it love. If it needs security, you can give it security. If it needs physical care, you can give it physical care. But you are now aware of the inner child within you, and you are able to nourish that inner child. So you now ask that inner child, what would you like? Tell me everything that you need and want. Don't hold anything back. Take time to pause this video here and sit with your inner child with your eyes closed and ask your inner child, what do you need? What would make you feel more loved? How can you feel secure? What didn't you get as a child that I can give you? Let your inner child know that you will not forget them, that you will check in with them, keep them safe throughout your life. Acknowledge your inner child and let your inner child know that now they are part of you at all times. So come back to holding the hand of your inner child. Hold your inner child's hand and walk back on that trail you took to the woods where you found your inner child. You're going to walk back, and the animal may or may not follow you, but you are completely secure and loved. And as you get to the door of the house, open the door and welcome your inner child into your home. Let them know that they are home now. They are safe now. This is their home too. And they are always welcome here. And they will always feel safe here. Just like the mother and father, you will take care of this inner child with utmost care and unconditional love. Embrace your inner child. Give them love. Tell them, I love you, I love you, I love you. Okay, take a deep breath and return back. Okay. For some of you, this may be very emotional and you may feel a lot of emotion. That's good. That is you coming back to your inner child. For some of you, you may not feel a whole lot. You may need to connect with your inner child more and more and ask your inner child, what do they want to do today? So one of the things that happened with me, just to kind of tie things up and share my experience, is that I completely lost my inner child at some point. You can equate this to also losing femininity or your feminine aspects. So it's your more playful flow nature. And so I lost this aspect of myself for quite a while because I went very much into my masculine. I was working and efforting very hard, doing lots of things, trying to prove and attain things. And because of this, I wasn't ever checking in with my inner child. I didn't have that aspect or element of fun in my life. And because of this, lots of things suffered. My health, my appearance, my energy, my mood, literally everything. And so we have to kind of maintain a balance. And one area that we can kind of really get off kilter is in our job, in our careers. So while on one hand, it is very good to follow your creative just aspects that come through for you when you're in that flow, there's also an aspect that wants to control. It wants to do more and more. And it's it's important to kind of balance that. And so a very good way to do that is to every day check in with your inner child. So one thing that I was kind of noticing happening to me, especially around the holidays, with there being so many different demands between, school events, family events, and I had 2 courses kind of ending around that same time. There was just a lot more energy that was being expended in a lot of ways, but not, even though it was the holidays, there was not a lot of that joy coming in to kind of match it, right? So what I noticed was during that time, there wasn't a lot of checking in with the inner child. So now that there's a little bit more time to reflect, one thing that I kind of learned from that is that checking in with yourself, your inner child, and if your inner child needs nourishment, really taking the time to nourish that inner child. Don't feel bad. Even if you have a super long to-do list, you will notice that even just taking those 30 minutes, that hour, or just taking that one day off to recuperate is going to really help you to get back into your flow. Whereas typically people want to stay working, they say push through it, you can do it, don't worry about that, that's just an illusion, this and that. No, we do have to love ourselves and check in with our inner child. And I know when I checked in with my inner child most recently, my inner child told me it was sad, that it wasn't playing, it wasn't having as much fun. And so we did a few things like setting up my new set, and the inner child got super happy and was decorating and doing all these things. And then other things started happening. A concert, the rodeo's coming, many things that excite the inner child are happening. So you want to kind of make sure that your inner child is connected to life, not neglected in a corner like maybe they literally were growing up as children. You want to give them the experience that they deserve, the love, because you see that inner child is you. And so what I'd like to kind of connect with the twin flame is that the twin flame, one of the jobs that the twin flame does is come in to rejoice, uplift, and bring forth the inner child and say, let's play. So your inner child and your twin flame are best friends. They're always going to be playing and loving each other. So you're going to see that there is this dynamic of when you're with your twin flame, the inner child rejoices and comes alive. And so that's just something that I wanted to share with you today. Also just an encouraging note to you, if you have been feeling burned out from the holidays or anything that's going on. I have quite a few people around me going through a lot of different things. And so whatever it happens to be, one thing that you can do on a daily basis to bring some level of joy back into even the most hard situations is do this inner child meditation. Check in with your inner child and ask them what they want to do. Even if it's as simple as having a bowl of cereal with something silly in it, like maybe you really liked Fruity Pebbles growing up, and so your inner child is saying to you, I'd really like to have Fruity Pebbles this week. Do it. These little things you don't realize are connecting you so much to what is happening here, to your heart. See, the longest road and the most important road and journey you will ever take is the road from your mind to your heart. And it's kind of a tricky road, but all you really have to do is follow the guide. And one of your best guides is your inner child. So that's why I'm bringing this forth for you today. So I hope that this message was helpful to you. If it was helpful to you, please share it with others, comment down below. That helps the YouTube algorithm to get my videos out there so that more people can see this kind of content. So thank you so much for watching. If you do want to connect further with me, I do offer one-on-one sessions, and I offer courses to align you with your sacred heart. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all.